What I love about Revvo is just the ease of access to the data. It's red if it's bad, it's green if it's good. And if they're not sure, they can go, hey, there's too many yellows. What do we do here? It's one of the things that a lot of companies do wrong is how they present the data. How you present the data is great. My name's Evan Darby. I'm the owner and operator of PDT Incorporated, a service provider company that started back in 2020 with the FedEx ground side. Worked with last mile with FedEx, where we were delivering home deliveries. Did that for a couple of years and ended up selling and moving into the line haul space. We operate about 35 vehicles in Savannah, Georgia, nationally across the country. So more of the smaller 10, 11 hour runs down to Florida, to Atlanta from Savannah. And then we have a lot of local operations. I started the company to grow it and obviously continue to work within FedEx, but also be able to grow outside of that as well and to find the right tools and processes to be successful. I spent about 5 years in IT. I have an electrical engineering background. So I am trying to merge an operational perspective as well as a technical background, which is what led me to look for a tool that would help me monitor some of my most essential assets on the road. Really, it's connectivity and being able to be reactive, but even have some proactiveness to my fleet maintenance schedule. And then also just to understand what's happening out there on the road. I can tell you one of the things that we deal with out on the road a lot is obviously DOT enforcement. And there's just so many aspects to maintain the vehicle properly to make sure that we are safe on the road. And then also when we do have those DOT checkpoints, that we're able to make sure we pass those with flying colors. There's been many times where a driver does the due diligence, does his pre-trip. The problem with that is they're driving for 10 or 11 hours. And so within that 4 hour time period, they could have an issue or a problem that we just don't know until we're at that DOT enforcement checkpoint or when there could be a major issue like a blowout. Really what I'm looking for and what one of the big reasons that I took the leap with you guys in Revvo is to be able to have that reactive and some proactiveness in maintaining my fleet's health while it's on the road and not just in the standard PM stuff, but also being able to handle things before they become a problem. Really having connectivity and the ability to see at any given point in time more of the edge technology in the moving fleet is a big advantage. I like that there's options that Revvo provides for the connectivity. I wanted to have the ability for those sensors to be protected within the tire and connected to the rim versus having the external sensors on the actual valve stems. Now, I think there's definitely a very good use case for them on the valve stems, but for me and my company and my business, I like that there were options to choose from because a lot of the vendors that I looked at, there was just really only one option and it was one size fits all. So the fact that there were multiple options there to use, it's been pretty streamlined. It's a great dashboard. It's easy to operate. It looks like the other dashboards that me as an owner operator would want to be able to utilize. And there's not a lot of figuring it out when I go into the dashboard. It's pretty clear. You've got some bright colors that tell me things are bad when they're red and green when they're good. And that's when I disseminate that down to the team and I have my operations team operating throughout the night. I need them to be able to do quick checks and quick glances. So from the integration standpoint, it's great. And then for the end user, it really helps that they have those just quick, easy points to look at and know when there's a problem or when everything's running smoothly.
Evan, that part of why we continue to offer flexibility in the way you connect your tires is exactly that. Every operation is slightly different. If some prefer ease of install and speed, we offer solutions for that. Others want to have that security and want to make sure that it's providing the most amount of information as possible, just like the one that you selected. All of that is so that we can ensure that you're getting the right data consistently and reliably, so we can push it to those simple, intuitive interfaces with the bright colors that tell you, hey, there's something here to look at and pay attention to.
We're still a little manual on this, but what I can tell you from a total cost of ownership, what I am finding is because of the Revvo integration and the solution that I have, I'm getting better life out of my tires because I don't have guys running You've got a truck with 10 tires on it, right? Not including the trailer. And so when you drive, they're not always going to catch the inner tire is running at 75 psi for 3 and 4 weeks. And then you start to get uneven wear. And so for me, the total cost of ownership is allowing, again, that red, yellow, green status. So when I've got a truck with a couple yellows or reds on it, my team is making sure, hey, we got to go get that filled up. Let's go get some air in those tires. And again, that's for me the proactive side of this tool. I can tell you the savings that I have and the amount of tires that I'm replacing due to blowouts have drastically reduced. We have very few blowouts on our vehicles because we're able to stay on top of the ones that are currently monitored by Revvo and stay on top of the optimal tire pressure for each tire on our fleet.
That's great to hear. Definitely someone with your intuition on your operations already connects the dots when there's mismatch in tire pressure from an inner and an outer, and you know that over even a few thousand miles, you're gonna have uneven wear, which causes its own problems. And part of our deployment of AI has been subtle in a lot of the current views and ways in which our users are seeing it. Part of what we're also seeing is how do we show you the most relevant information and not give you a lot of noise? And so we're using AI from a reduction in noise when it comes to the data and even in the insights. What does Evan care about? What matters? What drives his business? And let's only show that and change the display based on what matters to you in your operation and what drives impact, both from an ROI perspective and a risk perspective. Most fleet operators today are just overwhelmed with data. And so for them to be able to see and make the connection between an inner tire pressure is lower and then say, oh yeah, that means that there's gonna be a mismatch in the next 1,000 or 2,000 miles. That's hard. While we're talking about it, sounds obvious,
Yeah.
but that's hard for a regular operator without having 20, 30 years of experience to know that and see the negative effect of that.
I've already mentioned it a couple times, but what I love about Revvo is just the ease of access to the data. Again, while I've spent time in IT and I've got a great technical background, most of the people on my team, they have some understanding of trucks. They may be dispatchers. It could be a stay-at-home mom that's helping to dispatch during a period of time for us. What I love is it's just easy. There's not a bunch of buttons you can click. It's red if it's bad. It's green if it's good. And if they're not sure, they can go, "Hey, there's too many yellows. What do we do here?" There's not a lot of ways to screw it up, to put it bluntly. So what I love most is really the dashboard. It's one of the things that a lot of companies do wrong is how they present the data. Huge, huge benefit and outcome, again, just from a proactive standpoint, because for us to be able to make a phone call to a driver and say, hey, stop and get some air in your rear left inner is a heck of a lot easier than to call up FleetNet and go, oh, yeah, we've got a truck broken down the side of the road with a blown tire and it's 3 hour delay and FedEx is upset, our vendors are upset, and our drivers aren't happy because they only get paid by the mile. So it's just a very
Yeah.
big downstream effect for something so simple. And I'm very happy to hear that you guys have that capability and are willing to do that once that time comes.
Evan, as an owner and an operator and as a leader in the space, what's your perspective on where is our industry going from a fleet and both from a technology leveraging as well as operations?
I only see technology getting bigger, a bigger footprint within the trucking space. The entire country doesn't operate without truckers being on the road. And what I'm finding in my experience is that we're definitely further behind the technology roadmap that I think we should be on. Of course, there's some GPS and some AI cameras that are out there, and we're starting to get better, but just more technology is going to be better long term, just from a safety standpoint. One of the things I really love about our trucks is they all have the automatic stop. They have the following distance. There's so many pieces to help safety in the trucks that are starting to come to fruition, but really that interconnectivity to allow us to be able to see engine data and codes, that's a big one. I think trailers are a big one too. While we monitor our power units, we don't
Mhm.
have any control over the trailers. I still run into downtime issues where we're not getting our freight where it needs to be on time because of trailer tires that don't have these integrations, which to me, they pay for themselves very quickly. When we talk about safety, I talk about Revvo specifically and its impact on the company. And I've never heard a FedEx personnel go, that sounds dumb. They're all like, wow, that's cool. Why don't more contractors do that? Is generally the response. I'm definitely an advocate. I'm definitely preaching the message. I love the product and I love the data and what that does, what that means operationally for my company.